Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. I'm here with Mandy Summers. How you doing, Mandy?
I'm good. Like what? Hey, I'm so glad I'm here. This is
My,
gonna be awesome.
yeah. My wife was just saying I love her accent. So she was
Oh,
asking where exactly are you from? It's obviously it's the South, but the South is a big
yeah.
place.
So this is an Alabama accent.
Oh, Alabama.
This is what you get if you grew up in Alabama.
Oh, so you born and raised in Alabama?
Born and raised. Yeah, and I don't sound as Southern as some people that live here.
Can
Like this is mild because my mom's from Jersey. So
okay.
this is a mild Alabama accent. My best friend talks way more
Oh,
Southern than I do.
you're trying to say mild. Okay.
Mild, yeah.
Geez,
Yes.
I don't know what's going on. I got so much glare today. I gotta fix this. Yeah, and I'm from New York, so we can have the Civil War right over here. We can fight it
Right.
out.
Damn
Born and raised
Yankees.
in New York. Can you tell? Usually, when I just say hello, people just like New York.
No, I can tell. No, you definitely have a New York accent. You definitely do. I've been to New York. Well, like I said, my mom's from Jersey. So once every summer, we would go and visit her family in like North Jersey. So we'd always take, I don't know if it's a train. I think it was a train, but we would take the train into the city. And it was always really fun. We'd go do all the touristy stuff, like go see a show on Broadway and the museum, and I don't know, walk around Central Park, and it was always really fun. It's a fun city, but
When
it's a
was the
little
last time you've
busy.
been here?
Oh God, I was probably about 14 the last time I was
Oh,
in New
okay,
York.
yeah.
So
'Cause I just say yeah,
I'm definitely due for another visit, but it's been a while. It's been a hot minute since I've been in New York.
yeah. Well, I'm a construction worker, so I've been working in Manhattan for the past 20 years. But the well, I was working in Manhattan for 20 years, but for the past 5 years, I've been working in the airport. And I tell you,
Fun.
man, you don't want to go to Manhattan anymore. It's more close to Escape from New York than it is. I'm
See,
going, yeah,
that's
the
what I've
Woody Allen
heard.
movie.
Is it?
It's bad.
Look, I have a New York accent. Since you're from New York, all right. Tell me what you think. Hey, I'm walking here. Do I sound
Oh
right?
yeah, you sound like a native. Oh geez, I could just put a hot dog in one hand and give somebody the finger with the other. There you go. You're
Be
perfect.
perfect, right?
As I joke, it's I couldn't do a southern accent. I lived in Albuquerque for 7 years. I went out there for school and then I
Mhm.
stayed. And till the day I left, I would just say hello to strangers, and they'd be like, "New Yorker, New Yorker."
Yeah.
I
But
can't get
that's
rid of.
yeah, you can pin me even like the difference between like the Southern hospitality and when I go to New York, it's really different. Like I notice in New York, people walk, they don't make a lot of eye contact.
No,
Where here you make eye contact with everybody. You smile, you wave, you talk to strangers. It's very it's very different because I'm like I look like a crazy person probably in New York until
well,
they hear the accent and then it makes sense.
it's funny because when I moved out to New Mexico, I was
Mhm.
25, and I was all pretentious. I was reading Jack Kerouac and I was reading all the beat poets. As I'm like, I took my backpack. I had $40 in my pocket, and I traveled across the country. I hitchhiked, and I get to Albuquerque.
Wow.
Some guys picks me up in a pickup truck, drives me to the school. You know what I mean? This is
Mhm.
my one pair of pants. And I just remember I'm waiting at the bus stop, and some guy talks to me. The first thing I did is I put my hand over my wallet.
Oh
And,
my God. Yes.
and then
Yes.
and then 7 years later, it's the opposite. I'm coming home. I'm going back to New York finally, and I'm talking to everybody. I turned into like a Westerner. I'm like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? And I needed money to. This was a payphone. I needed money to use the payphone, and the
Mhm.
guy at the newsstand was like, you have to buy something. So I gave him a $20 bill to buy like 25 cents worth of gum, and he started cursing at me, and I started cursing at him, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm in New York for like 25 minutes, and I'm already cursing in the street at people.
Back home.
I'm home. I'm home,
I'm
everybody.
back home. Yeah, when we would go, like, this is gonna sound horrible, but when the first time my mom took me, I was probably 6, and I had never seen like a panhandler before. They just we don't have those here. So I had never seen one, and some guy came and asked me and my mom for money, and she told him no. She was like, "No, get the hell out of here." She's used to it.
Well,
And
he grew
I
up
was
in New Jersey. Yeah.
walking away. I was like, "Why didn't you give him some money? That's so mean." She's like, "No, you don't understand. If you give one money, we're gonna have a circle of people around us." And it was like, wow, that's crazy. So yeah, I thought she was a dick for not just giving the dude like $5, Because
It's
again, we don't get that's not a thing here. Usually there's so many like Baptist church. They have food kitchens every, you know what I mean, every night of the week. They're giving away clothes. They're doing so there's not a lot of panhandling in the not where I'm from anyways. It's a small little rural town. So, everybody takes care of everybody here. So
like, well,
I
I
thought she was
haven't been in
a dick.
Manhattan in 5 years, but it used to be there's so many panhandlers that they're just like, hey, got money? Hey, got money? And they leave you
Yeah.
alone because there's so many people. But when I lived in Albuquerque,
Mhm.
there wasn't a lot of panhandlers, but there also wasn't a lot of foot. So they would like follow you, and it was like kind of scary,
Oh
even as
wow.
a New York, they're like, hey, dude, come on, man, why can't you give me? Because they could spend more time with each until you finally you're like, well, you better leave me the f alone, But New York, so many panhandlers, they
Right.
didn't even make eye contact with you. They're just like money, 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 you know.
I like the ones that play music.
Yeah,
They
or
I mean, I
they tell you a
usually
story.
like, I would give money to that because they're doing something, they're entertaining,
Well, they're not panhandlers. They provide the service.
Right,
Yeah.
right, they got their little guitar case open, it's nothing, throw, like, $5 in there,
Yeah,
it's
busker. I
kind of
couldn't think of the
fun.
word. Yeah, they're doing
Yeah,
something. They're working for their money.
exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
you're entertaining me as I'm walking to go find me a pretzel or a hot dog, so
You know, I was in Albuquerque, and I remember I stopped at a red light, and a guy opened up my door, and I'll never forget. He looked like Jesus. He had a poncho on, long. He just opens the door, and he's like, "Hey, guy, can I get him?" And this is Albuquerque. And
mhm.
people are gonna think less of me, but everybody drives with their gun right here. And he goes, "Yo, man, you could have just said no. I didn't know who it was. He's opened up my car door. I
No,
thought,
that's
what was that?"
creepy. That's
Yeah,
that's creepy as hell. Yeah.
yeah. So
He
I
would
don't
have
stop
done
cars
got
back like
maced.
Jesus.
I would have maced him. Like seriously, I
Yeah.
keep my mace right like in my on my well, it's my little change thing in my car. And I keep it right there. It's like where the console is. So I keep it pretty close.
So I got to ask you, what's a local food there that is famous by where you live?
Country fried steak, boiled peanuts,
Boiled
fried
peanuts,
pickles.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I heard boiled peanuts, but I never had it. I had chicken fried steak. I love chicken fried steak.
It's
I
so
dated a
good,
girl from
right? That's
Colorado.
the best thing that I cook. Of all the stuff that I cook, that's my best meal. That's the one everybody asks me for if I'm cooking something special. They always want country fried steak with the sawmill gravy on top.
What's that though? Is that the
It's
and
the white with the
the
pepper
white
in it.
gravy?
Hmm.
Yeah, I about a year or two ago, I forget what it was, but I said to my wife, I never had that biscuits and white gravy.
You've never had biscuits and
I never
gravy.
had it. And then now I'm like, how did I live without? I love it. I have it all the time now.
Oh my god. See, you need some I need to send your wife some southern
Okay.
recipes. You will be as big of a house by the time she's done cooking for you because southern people know some food. We
Oh
can
yeah,
cook.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, when I lived in I went to school at University of New Mexico, and
Mhm.
that I started out in Stony Brook, which is like a local college, and it was all New Yorkers. But when I moved to University of New Mexico, it was people from all over the country. So I dated some Southern girls, I dated Northern girls, local New Mexico.
Right.
I don't know if you have green chili out there, but green chili, like Alabama's far away from New Mexico. You probably don't know green
Yeah,
chili.
no, I don't even know what that is. It sounds like a
I got
salsa.
it right here. I get it mailed to me frozen. It's the frosting. I'm going to make green chili stew. I got to
Mm.
ask you about boiled peanuts. Is it soft when you eat them?
They're soft. Yes, they're soft peanuts.
Oh
You
wow.
break the shell. The shell's a little like malleable, I guess you could say. You can push down, but you pop the shell and the peanuts on the inside are soft.
So you boil them in the shell?
Hmm.
Wow. I never heard about this. I
They're
never heard.
so good.
I bet Southern food is great.
They're so good. Like seriously, they are delicious.
You got I have a comic campaign coming out soon, and I've been joking around, and I guess it's going to have to become real. But if I hit 100,000, which is unbelievable, for a first time guy, that I'm going to fly all my friends, all the people that I chat with, out to New York, and we're going to have pizza party, and we're going to play a role playing game. And you said you play Dungeons and Dragons, right?
I do. Yes.
You're invited. You're
Yeah.
invited.
Oh, look, what's right beside me. I've been helping my daughter make a campaign. So I got Curse of Strahd
Oh
that I've
wow!
been helping her do. So yeah, her and her friends and I play D&D, which is awesome.
You
But we've been working on a campaign, and she wanted like a vampire, dark, gothic setting. I was like,
you
I
gonna do
know.
Ravenloft?
I did do Ravenloft. I did. It's been a while, but yes, we
So
did.
are you the DM or are you a player?
No, I'm a player. I don't. So, and I haven't played in a while. My DM moved. And he was really good. Like we did a little bit of the campaigns that they made, but mostly he made up all of his own, which was really, really cool.
Yeah.
When I first started though, we did a few of the standard campaigns. But yeah, now he moved and I don't have any friends to play with anymore. And I tried to join this online group and I put my profile picture up there and they said, "Who that?" Like they didn't believe that I was me. I guess the picture was a little I mean, it's like, yeah, it's me. So I put a picture, I looked kind of hot in it. And they were like, "What, you think you're gonna come in here and bullshit us?" And I'm like, "No, I literally just want to play D&D."
I
And
don't
they
like
wouldn't let
playing
me.
online.
They wouldn't let me play with them. They thought that I was a troll, like a catfish or something. So they wouldn't let me play.
My friend had what is he called, a guild for an online game,
Hmm.
and there was a girl in the group, and it was her picture, and she super hot girl, blonde, on a with next to a motorcycle, and he said he just never thought about it. He just thought it was a fake profile picture for years until they all were going to New York for Comic-Con, and he met, and he was just like, "Oh my god, my wife would never have let me come if they knew." He just assumed it was a troll. He's like, and the leader of the guild was some 14-year-old kid. So he goes, here, he's like a vice president of some major financial company. This super hot girl turns out she's a stripper in real life, but likes to play video games. And then they're all taking orders from this 14-year-old kid. Even when they were in New York, they were planning strategy. He said it was the funniest thing.
That is funny. The group I tried to join wouldn't even let me join. They were like, "No, if you're fake, you're not real." And then I was like, "Well, damn, that
Have you ever played?
sucks." But I don't know. I don't know that I would like doing it online anyways, because I don't know. I like writing in my character sheet. I like rolling the dice. I like,
Yeah,
it seems kind of silly, but it's almost like,
you're preaching to the converted over here. During COVID, I joined
mhm,
an online group just because my group. I'm always the DM. I'm always
right.
the DM, and I make up my own stuff too. I don't like to use modules or whatever, so I'm always making up
Mhm.
my stuff. And we were in the middle of a campaign, and then New Yorkers went crazy during COVID. I don't know how much they wouldn't come out of their houses,
Yeah.
and like it's funny because when you went outside, it was only old people. Like I guess the Generation Z, we don't take orders from anybody. So we're like going
Right.
outside. I'm going to bars. I'm going to restaurants. It's nobody's there, just me.
Nobody's there.
Just other old guys. And then my friends who are 30 years old and younger, I'm called them up. Come on, let's play. And they're like, "No, you're breaking the law." I was like, what happened to the rebellious of youth? So I reluctantly joined an online group, and it was nice. They were pleasant, but there's something about, like you said, reaching across the table, hearing each other,
Right.
arguing, eating the Funyuns, sharing the pretzels and
Right,
stuff.
right. Ordering pizza
Yeah,
and sitting
yeah,
there
yeah.
eating Twizzlers while you're playing. You know what I mean? There's something to that, like carrying your notebook with all of your, like, because I used to draw maps and stuff, like for, I'd get like graph paper and draw and
Oh
maps.
yeah.
And so I played the character I played the most. Her name was LaDavia, and she was a paladin. an elf
Okay, I was just
paladin.
about to ask you about your character.
Yeah, she was a paladin. And I played her for 3.5, maybe 4 years. So she was pretty high level. Like she had already like she was on up there. I think she was level 17 when I quit.
Wow, that's
But
good.
we played every night. Like my DM didn't give away XP. Like you didn't level up every time you played. You may play for 4 or 5 days and never hit a level.
Yeah.
But I finally leveled her up, and so by the end, she like had this guild hall filled with other paladins that she was running, and I was drawing it out and grafting it, and looking in the player's handbook for money to see how much goes to like. And I was really like, if I
There's
showed
no
you that,
intricate arm reach.
oh my gosh, that's an old school one.
Yeah, and look how beat up it is. It's like the Dead Sea Scrolls over here, all beat up.
It is.
I think
Oh
water
my
dripped on it at
god.
one point.
So I've only played that version a few times. I'm mostly 3.5.
Okay.
That's the one I played more than anything else was
Yeah,
3.5.
I'm older than you. Me and my buddies, I bought up to AD&D second edition, and I got all the books, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when it went to 3, I was like, I'm not buying anything new. Me and my friends are having fun. We have no need to trade in all the books. We have all the character sheets. So I just pretended it never happened. And my friends weren't
Gotcha.
buying the books. I don't even think they knew that there was an additional edition.
Right. That's what I did with 4. Like 4 doesn't exist to me. 4 was so bad. 4 was so crappy. It was horrible.
I never played it. What was wrong? Everybody says it was
Okay.
no good, but what was wrong?
So, okay, the best way I can describe it is 4 came out around the time that like games like World of Warcraft and EverQuest was massively growing in size, and they tried to turn it into like World of Warcraft.
Okay.
The way the spells work, the way the buffs worked, everything, it didn't feel like D&D. It felt like you were role playing World of Warcraft. And
Okay.
it was, I don't know, to me we didn't mess with it very much because of that. It was just really shitty the way they did it. So yeah, Alpha Snork, yeah, 4E became a card game. That's what it felt like. It wasn't D&D anymore. It was,
Well, what do you
what
like
are you
better? Do you like the hack and slash, just fighting, combat, getting treasure, or do you like the role playing
I
aspect?
like the role playing aspect. I
Yeah,
guess because I'm a girl, so I always like the
I
role
guess I'm
playing
a girl too.
aspect.
I like to, I actually left the group because it was just it wasn't fun. It was just like I was saying yesterday. I had Rini and Dennis Turner and Justin
Mhm.
Sweet talking about role playing games. So it's funny. You should have came on last night, but I said,
We
like, in
dress
the middle of a
up.
fight, my character had like an existential crisis. Why am I breaking into this poor goblin's house and killing him and like I felt like a bad guy. Like there's no reason for me to be doing this. I have enough treasure. So we kind of,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. I would dress up for it. Like I had a costume that I wore. Like I'm really into the role playing. I do the of course being a paladin, I was lawfully good. So oh my god, you do it too.
I'm telling
Oh
you,
my
man.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
I got all my stuff here. Come to New York. Now, okay, now let's pretend my hypothetical, well, not hypothetical. I'm really launching a comic campaign, but let's say it hits that 100,000K and I fly you to New York and you're going to make up your comic book character. This is what I've been telling everybody. Like Rini is going to make up one of the characters in Fiendish. Brian Bowers is going to be Wolf and Batsy. My favorite Fabrizio will be Horace H. Hoover. Who would you be out of all your character creations? Who would you make up in a role-playing game to play?
Wart the Wizard.
Wart the Wizard? I figured.
Mhm.
That's the right?
He would be fun. I like wizards too. I like wizards. Mackenzie would be fun too, but she's more kind of fighterish. And I've already done that with a paladin. So next time I play, I want to play a spellcaster class. So I would definitely go Wart the Wizard. So I can be like casting fireball and you know what I mean? That would be fun.
Yeah. People agreed that you'd be what? Yeah, you wouldn't be Gem-Shock.
Just only because I've already played a fighter class, and that's what Gymshark is more I mean, she does have magic abilities. Like her powers do allow her to she can like shapeshift. She can do things with her and build. So I guess she would be now I'm trying to think of what class Gymshark would actually be because she can fight too. So she can definitely take a hit, and that's not a spellcaster. Spellcasters get hit with a staff one time and they're
Yeah,
on their
that's it.
asses,
Yeah,
right?
they're in the back.
Gymshark has the protective shield on her with her gems. So I don't know what she would be. Maybe a wizard with mage armor on a little bit.
Well,
But no, I would
everybody draw
want
my comic and
full
we'll find out.
right. I would want full wizard. I would definitely want full wizard. Yeah.
Oh, hey Marcus, how you doing? My moderator Marcus just showed up. So so you play Dungeons and Dragons. You said you play Magic.
I do. Yeah, Magic the Gathering. Yes.
I'll tell you my Magic the Gathering story. When I lived in Albuquerque, it was
Mhm.
92, 93. So it was Magic just started coming out, and my roommate worked. Why can't I remember but it was the distributor for the whole southwest of Magic cards, and he would take cases of Magic cards and throw them out the window into a dumpster. Just like nobody's looking. And then at night, me and him would drive. We would climb into the dumpster. We would take cases of cards, and this was UNM. This was a college town. We were like the drug dealers. We would show up. What do you guys want? What do you guys want? What do you need? What do you need? And we would just sell it. People would be like, oh, here comes John and Jeff. And I'm not even joking. That's how we paid our rent by selling Magic cards.
Oh my god. Yeah. I had a few of the Power 9 and I sold them before they became big.
We had, I'm not even joking. We had a stack. We had Black Lotus cards. We didn't know that this was 92, 93. We didn't know that
Right.
this was, we had it. I'm not even joking. It was a treasure chest. It looked like a pirate stereotype D&D treasure chest. And we had all the cards sorted and put them in that treasure chest. And Jeff moved out of the house first, and he left. And if you went into the basement of the house, you went into a utility room. There was a boiler room. And then you went behind that. There was just a room, sand floor, it's just and that's where we hid the treasure chest, thinking that people were going to break in for these cards. That's how paranoid we were.
Oh my
He moved out.
gosh.
I forgot about it. I thought he took, and I moved out. So we joked that treasure chest has got to still be in that house that we rented when we were in college, like the first one of us who goes back to Albuquerque, we're going to knock on that door. I lived here in 93. Can I look in the basement for something that I left? Because we were looking on eBay. That's like $180,000 worth of cards.
Yep.
And Albuquerque's dry, so it might still be there.
I'm telling you, that's why it kills me. It kills me now that I sold them, just thinking that, what's the matter? They weren't worth nothing when I did it, they maybe $8.
And I won't play Magic now because I'm like, I'm not paying for cards that, I left worth better cards back in the treasure chest.
Right. Yeah. I have a deck that I don't think I'm ever going to get rid of. So I don't swap. Like I do keep up with the tournaments a little bit. A little bit. The last I saw that silver deck with the what are those little things? The were whatever. The silver they were crap I didn't care about. But they were dominating slithers or something like that. They were absolutely dominating the tournaments. The artifact, it was like the artifact affinity one or whatever.
I don't know. Like I said, I probably stopped playing around 96.
Oh, okay. See, this is way newer. So that one was the one dominating, but I have found a deck. Slivers, that's it. Yes. I have found one that beats it. My White Angel deck is my health raises every turn, every angel that I have, and then I have like these clerics. I only keep 2 in my deck, but I have these clerics, and when they come out to play, I don't remember exactly what they do now because it's been a while since I played. But oh my god, it's an unbeatable deck. It's unbeatable. I have not found a deck. I played against a black like vampire deck. It can't beat it. It's just my health is too damn high. And no, I just didn't blow dry it today, Sir Angus Fungus. This isn't done. This is actually the opposite of done.
There you
This
go.
is
People
just
like
my
you did
natural
nothing with
curl.
your hair and you're getting compliments. You spend
I
4 hours
know. Thank you
spend 4
guys.
hours on your hair, nobody notices.
Right? Yeah, I straighten
I
it
did my beard, guys.
normally.
I did my beard for Mandy's appearance. Nobody's complimenting my beard.
I like your beard. It looks like you put oil in
Yeah, the barber yelled at me when I went. He goes,
it.
because I would go from working at the airport to
Mhm.
get my hair cut. He's like, I don't even want to touch you. You put gloves on, all like, you know,
Ah.
well, it was all filled with dust and you know debris
Jeez.
and whatever diesel fuel. Yeah, people like, yeah, there you go. You don't have to do hair
Aw,
anymore. See?
thank you, Bill.
So, uh, you play D&D. Was it hard to find a group in Alabama?
No, no. I have always kind of went towards not the jocks, anyways. Basically, it was the smokers is kind of what I gravitated towards, and that kind of went hands in hand around here. Like typically, if you are a massive smoker, you're probably playing D&D, you're probably playing Magic, you sitting in a basement somewhere, you know what I mean, eating
Yeah,
pizza and eating munchings and crunchings like Gurgi and playing some board games and stuff. So or yeah, table games or whatever. So
yeah.
no, it actually so my best friend, all of my friends that I grew up with in my neighborhood, first, I grew up in a neighborhood. I was very lucky in a way. When I was a kid, I didn't feel that way, but the neighborhood that my parents moved us into when I was 3, that I grew up in my entire, until I moved out of my parents' house, was my God, it was awesome. So it was all boys except for me. The entire neighborhood was males with the kids. And they all loved comics. They loved stuff, they loved D&D. So I just kind of gravitated towards that. And then when I got older, it just took me, going to a comic book store and I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked when my
What,
brother
what,
took me. So
what comics were you into as a kid?
as a kid, it was a little bit different. I read a lot of like Rainbow Bright. I read when I was really, really little. It was a lot of the like My Little Pony, Rainbow Bright, stuff like that. And
Oh, the
then
Star
once I got
Comics
in,
from Marvel, right?
I
Marvel Comics series, Star Comics that was for wee little kids,
yeah, it was a lot of those.
droids.
And then as I got a little bit older and started hanging out with the boys in my neighborhood, it was Spider-Man and Batman and stuff like that. And then again, when we got a little bit older again, it was, Preacher and I don't know, New Mutants and stuff like so it just depended on the age group that we were. We kind of swapped around a lot, really. But yeah, no, it was super easy to come across, there's a lot of nerdy people in Alabama, so it worked out. There's not a lot to do here. So it worked out really, really well, honestly.
Well, in New York, I guess where I grew up, it was just a lot of people, so there was always a lot of nerdy people, but there was also a
Right.
lot of jocks. And I'm significantly older than you, I'm sure. There was like you bought comics, and there was girls that came into the comic book store. Don't get me wrong, but people like hid. I remember this one girl would come in, and she would always ask to use the bathroom, and I felt bad for her. And she would go in, and she would stuff all the comics down her shirt, and then she would come out and be like, "Can you see?" I'm like, "No," and she'd be like, "Okay," because her father would yell at her if she had to sneak comics into her own house.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, I assume you didn't have any of that. You
No, no,
uh,
my brother was massively into comic books. So it just, it was like second nature almost that I would like comics too, just because they were around. I think I was maybe 5 or 6 when the 89 Batman came out. I think I was like 5. And my brother took me to see that. Then I fell in love with Batman, and had to read the comics because I'd seen the movie and I love the characters. So now I need the comics. So no, it was very second nature. And my parents, as long as I was reading, my parents didn't give a shit. It was literally, if I'm reading, it's better than watching TV or they'd rather me do that than play with my Barbie dolls. So.
My parents were the same way. I don't know if they knew I could hear, but they were arguing literally with that girl's father. He was a friend of the family, and he was like, my father's like, he's reading. What do you want him to do? Play? I had the Atari Pong. That's how advanced video games were. You want him playing Pong all day long, or you want him reading? I gotta address this. Thank mint salad.
Hey, Mint, how are you, beautiful?
Mint, you're helping me pay. I got some pages for Renzo today. You're helping me pay for Renzo. So thank you. And my colorist. Thank you so much, Mint. She's always, and I gotta, Mandy's better than Fabian. In case Fabian Nisieto was on my channel and he basically insulted me.
What a dick.
I showed him this. It's stacked. I was like, that's my to read pile right there. And he goes, well, that means you have mental issues. So I was like, oh, thank you. How many less comic books should I buy, Fabian, to make you happy?
What an asshole.
Yeah, and then he told me to stick a comic up my ass. So there you go.
No, he didn't.
On John Delarose's, what's it? I forget the name of his news. He did an article about Fabian telling me to stick a comic up my ass.
Oh my god.
Yeah. EVS was talking about it. Eric July was talking about it because you were saying you don't like drama, but I think it's not drama if it's me, right?
Yeah, I'll go with that. No, that's crazy. But, I don't know. A lot of those guys, it's really weird. It's like, I don't know. They help create a really good character and then they just become dickheads. Like, I don't know. I've never meet your heroes, I guess. It's like,
you are so right. You are so right. This channel arose out of boredom for COVID. I'm kind of a people person. I like to talk to people. When I was in Albuquerque, I was talking to everybody, and when I come back to New York, I talk to. My wife gets embarrassed because I'm talking to the person in front of me at the supermarket while we're waiting to check out the groceries, and she's like, I turned on this camera. She ran upstairs because she's afraid I'm going to pull her into the conversation. You know what I mean? She's such a
what does she watch?
No, she'll never come on camera. She's such an introvert.
But does she sit upstairs and watch you stream?
She doesn't even watch me stream anymore.
I was gonna say hi to her.
She might be watching because she likes your accent. She might be watching. But so I was like, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel to try to talk to people. So one by one, I was like interviewing and talking to, and so many times I'm like, oh man, I wish I didn't talk to that person. They're kind of a jerk, but I'd say more times out of not, people have been pleasant.
Yeah, it's just really, like, I don't know, like, I had the biggest crush on Rob Liefeld when I was growing up, like, biggest crush ever. He made, like, in the 90s, he was young, right? He was super young. I was super young too. So he was young. He was this really, like, energetic, fun. You had McFarlane, who was kind of like stoic or whatever, but Rob was like, boom, comic books. You know what I mean? He was like in your face with it. And then I don't know, when I seen him go on with Billy Tucci over on Pop XP, it was like, how the mighty have fallen. Damn. So I don't know. I don't think I got a crush on him no more. The crush finally went away. But like, I used to have a picture of him in my locker. Him and Gavin Rosdale from Bush were the two guys in my locker.
Well, Rob he was in that jeans commercial showing his butt,
Yes, and he would do the toy stuff, and I mean, he was just, I don't know, he was really, really cool.
I like Rob Liefeld. I like him as a person. He has suffered the slings of arrows from critics. People were mean to, and I got to say, I was mean to him too. I still don't like his art, but I like him, and I would love to have.
What do you think about his feet?
His feet?
The feet he draws.
I've never seen his feet.
feet he draws. That's usually where most of his shit comes from, is his
Yeah.
feet. I always hear when I tell people I had a crush on Rob Liefeld, they're like, he can't draw feet, Mandy. And I used to say, shut the hell up, you don't know what you're talking about. Now it's like, fair enough.
And I'll go on Twitter to reach out to talk to creators, and I'm
Mhm.
blocked, even though I've never interacted with them.
That's weird, right?
Like Kurt Besek has been one of my favorite writers forever. He
Mhm.
was on my forum. I have a forum that I talk about role playing games. He was a member of it when I had 35 people. I don't know how, and we would talk. And then I go on Twitter and I'm blocked. I'm sure it's because I follow EVS. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know. What am I going to say? Something you disagree with? You know, I, I one of my first interviews was Kate Ironwood, who was an editor for Eclipse Comics. I think she was one of the most important people in comic books that nobody ever knows. This woman's a communist, and me and her had a wonderful talk. So you just being a baby. If you can't handle me, I'm a pussycat. I'm nothing. Rob is a great. Rob is great. He's interesting. I would love to talk to him.
Yeah, he does do a good podcast. He does.
Was his by his wife? Oh, there you go. Well, when you get famous, you start doing strange things.
That was it was the babysitter. It was the nanny with him. I do believe, unless you know something I don't know. I don't doubt it.
I'm an old punk rocker. By the time Bush came out, I was just like those teeny boppers. The Ramones, the Stooges, and the Sex Pistols. Still listen to them. This is Marcus found my link. This is my forum if anybody's interested for my role playing games. When we play, I post up write ups for everything. Twitter is a massive echo chamber. Absolutely, it's a great thing and it's a bad thing. For me, it's been nothing but a pleasure because I don't know. Maybe I'm lucky, but I don't let things bother me. So people, I've been insulted to my face on Twitter. I'm like, I don't know this person. I don't know if they're serious or not.
Yeah.
So word on the street is you got some comics out. I guess we've been talking for 37 minutes.
I do. I have a few now.
Yeah. So tell us about some of your comics there.
So I started with Wart the Wizard. That was my original one. That was what got me into Comicsgate, was Wart the Wizard. And it's I got, the thing is with Wart the Wizard is once you read the second one, I think you totally can get where I'm going with it. Like it really builds with the story. And I do have a third one that's going to be coming out here. Not to like got it written. It's pretty much ready to get drawn.
I'm sure all these people watching already know, but you're the writer. You're not the artist.
I'm the writer. Yeah, I was the artist on Wart the Wizard 1. Lord bless me. I did Wart the Wizard 1 on my own, and I am no artist, sir. So,
is it based on your D&D stories?
It's not. No, it is actually so when my daughter was little, I would read her stories every night. I wanted her to grow up to be an avid reader. So every night I would read her a story. After a while, I genuinely got tired of reading the same damn things. And I mean, when I say my daughter had a library, I'm talking about 300-400 books. Every time I went to the store, I bought her a new book. But there's only so many kids' books, right? There's a plethora of them, but there's still only so many. So I would buy her a book. After a while, though, every night I'd be like, "What book you want Mama to read to you?" And she'd, and I'd start naming them. Do you want this one? No, this one? No, this one? No. And eventually, 5 minutes would go by and I'd start getting annoyed. Like, all right. So one night I was literally like, all right, lay down. I'm just going to make one up. And that was the birth of Wart the Wizard, was when I made her just lay down and let me tell her a story. So, and that's where it came from. It's literally, and it got so in depth at a certain point to where that's what she asked me for every night, was to hear about Wart the Wizard. So yeah, it really got to the point where every night I was,
You're a good company, because that's how Tolkien started with The Hobbit. It was a
was
bedtime
it
story that he told
really?
to And he would say like, "Oh, the Hobbit showed up. You know, there was 14 dwarves or 13. I forget exactly."
Mm-hmm.
And his son would go, "Yeah, but he had a blue hat yesterday." So Tolkien actually had to start writing down the details because his son's memory was so, and that turned into writing the Hobbit, you know, just to keep a track of it because it's pain in the neck.
That's how I did it. Yes, I had to start writing it down. And I had a notebook that I would write down what work did that night so I could keep up with it.
There you go.
So that's
People are backing me up. Thanks for the backup there. Oh, and
that's
thank you for subbing. Thank you.
crazy.
I assume that means
Yeah,
you're coming to me.
that's how it was born. And so yeah, it's
Just pushing my pint glass. Heroic Tales.
love
That's the
it.
name of my comic. And then on the back, geez, the light is killing me. But you can see the patriarch symbol. There you go. My moderator is always like, John, you're not pushing your stuff. There you go. Andy the female token. Just go. There you go. Now you got to invent the language.
Right? Yeah, there's no they pretty much just speak normal language in the universe I created. But what I did was because I was pulling from everything that I loved. There are so many aspects in Wart the Wizard. It's got a D&D aspect. It has like I played a lot of Mario growing up. So there's a lot of, aspect. I played a lot of that. I played King's Quest and Leisure Suit Larry and games like that. So a lot of the find an item and then figure out what you have to do with it later. So I incorporated that into the book as well. So there's just a lot of that. He's got a health bar at the top. There's a lot of little inside jokes with just on big online games like EverQuest, mostly EverQuest. That's the one I played the most of. So yes, the air games were the bomb, dude. So yeah, there's a lot of EverQuest and World of Warcraft, like guilds and stuff like that in it. So it's just a really, really, really a fun story. And the great thing is you don't have to read one. You could start off with two and just go with two and go. Peter, I think Peter's still in the chat. Peter did the artwork in it, and it's absolutely exactly what I wanted. It's so cute. But yeah, you can pick it up. It's actually available on my store right now. I have a narwhal cover that you guys can get. If you haven't read it yet, it's really, really fun. A lot of people get the wrong idea because it was an all ages book. So they think it's really, really kiddified. And it's not. It's not really incredibly, kiddified. It's really, really fun for adults too. Hey, Tay.
The link to your store is in the description, and Marcus, if you could put the link to in the chat. But I like what you said. It's all ages.
Mm-hmm.
The Hobbit was all ages. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Wizard of Oz was all ages. I'm a big proponent of all ages, and my comic that's coming up, Heroic Tales, it's all ages. Just like Marvel and DC in the 80s and 90s were all ages. I don't know. All ages is what you're supposed to be doing. It's look at Bugs Bunny. Little kids laugh at it, and then adults watch it later on, going, "Oh, I didn't get this as a kid."
Right.
Star Wars is all ages. All the entertainment that we love and fondly remember is all ages. So I agree with you. I think all ages is the way it should be. There's also room for adult comics. There's also
course, yeah. Like I do have adult comics too.
Right.
Like I would not recommend a child reading Jack the Ripper Vampire Hunter.
No,
that was a very adult one. Super Dead the same way. Super Dead's probably more for teenagers. You know what I mean?
Wart the Wizard is all ages.
All ages,
Jack the
right?
Ripper is definitely R-rated and
R-rated, yeah, definitely.
Probably PG-13. So you covered all your bases there. Yeah, I read them all.
I did. I like to jump around. It keeps my mind busy when I jump around like that. And Jim Shaw could probably be like, really, Jim Shaw's probably all ages as well. There's not a lot of, there's some violence, obviously.
Well, it's a superhero book. It's got to be violent.
It's a superhero book. There's violence, but there's no nudity. There's no A lot of there's not. I don't know that I even use one cuss word in it. If I did, it's maybe like what the hell. I mean, so it's probably all ages too. But yeah, Ward the Wizard is it's a really fun book with the way I built the world. It's done a little bit like Mario in a way to where, you go to like stage one, you're in this world, and then you move to the desert world, and then you move to the water world, then you move. So I've done that as well, except I incorporated dragons. So each world has its own dragon. And they can't go to different worlds, because if they did, they would fight amongst each other and destroy the world. So each one controls its own. And Wart the Wizard comes across Lixion, who is he's Brightmoor. That's where Wart's from. He's Brightmoor's dragon. But what makes him so special is he's not just a normal dragon. Like each dragon has its own power set and owns its own world, but he's a portal dragon. He's
Okay.
the only dragon that's able to port from world to world. That's what makes him so special. And that's why everybody wants him, because he's the one that can open the portal of echoes. So there's a lot of that going on. And again, he has a health bar. He finds items and figures out how to use them. He's kind of a goofy little smartass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he finds a staff, this magical wizard with a staff, and he breaks it in front of him, and he's like, hi, he's just kind of a jerk, but he's funny, you know what I mean? And he's always getting into trouble. The whole thing in Wart the Wizard 1 starts with him having to go get a job because he's getting evicted from his house. So the whole premise of all of this adventure, him finding Lexion, finding everything, Grey Moss coming to attack him, is because he needed to go get a job because he needed to pay his rent. So, and at the end of book 1, he's sitting out by a campfire because he did get evicted. So him and his little orb, which ended up being a dragon egg, is sitting outside sitting outside a campfire with his little tent that he's built because he lost his house. So
And
but
that
it's fun.
so what went from, because what year did What the Wizard come out? I'm
That would have been probably 2018, 2019.
okay.
So
So this was the infancy of all this Comicsgate, and there was
yes.
crowdfunded before this. I remember the first time I heard one of my partners at work was telling me that a guy in his neighborhood was crowdfunding comics, and I was like, "That's crazy! This will never catch on," And years later, I'm doing it myself. So what got you from you're playing Magic, you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, you're telling your daughter story, and next thing you know, you're going online and crowdfunded a comic.
I found
Comicsgate.
Comicsgate. I honestly, I found Comicsgate. I didn't know. So I wasn't very connected online before Comicsgate. Like, I didn't have a YouTube channel. I didn't even have a Twitter. I thought Twitter was just a place where you go to follow like celebrities, like, look what Kim Kardashian's doing. So I didn't give a shit about it, right? I don't care what Kim Kardashian's doing. So I didn't really.
That I didn't use. I said I had a Twitter account for years that I didn't use until I started doing it, because it was annoying. It was just political arguments.
Yeah, see, I didn't even have one. Like, I cared so little about it because it started with like Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore, and they're like, you can get all the stuff right now, like, no one cares. So I didn't even have one, but I did have the new run of Rainbow Bright. And I thought, what a perfect way to bring my daughter into comics, right? I'll read her Rainbow Bright the same way I did, not the same book. It was a new run, but I'll read it with her. And it got canceled like 5, maybe the 6th issue, it got canceled. So when I went to my comic shop to order it, it wasn't like worth the next issue. So I started looking for it, and I couldn't find it. So I started Googling, like, what the hell happened? And then I found like people bitching about it being woke. And I'm like, what the hell is woke? What does that mean? And then I realized as I dug deeper into this rabbit hole, I found Comicsgate because I found your boy Zach. I found some stuff from him. I
Yeah,
found Ethan.
yeah, I
I
have the
found
book.
some stuff. And I'm like, wow, I'm not the only one that feels like everything's going to crap. It's not just me. Like, because I
You
thought
get
it
the
was
great
just
feeling
me.
when you find out that there's other people that agree. I was like, oh my god, I'm not the only one. I thought I was a weirdo. Well,
Right?
I am a weirdo, but that's besides the point.
Right? No, it was like really. And so I made a Twitter. I started watching the live streams. I saw what it was. I saw, you know what I mean? I saw what was going on. I realized that it wasn't, I'm not crazy. There is a problem within comics. There
Yep.
is a problem in video games. There is a problem within Hollywood. There's a freaking problem. And it's not
Yep.
just me that feels that way. And I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to be a part of it. I've lived in the South. Of course, I've always wanted to write. That's always been my thing, and I always wanted to write comics too. But I lived in rural South. How the hell am I going to get anybody like Marvel or you know what I mean?
Believe
Or
me, I lived in New York.
DC?
I went to Marvel Comics with scripts. I went to DC Comics
Mhm.
with scripts, and I don't know if you ever saw the King of Comedy with the Art Scorsese, where they just like escort the comedian out the door. And that was me.
Yes.
I got great ideas, guys. You know, I was the electrician in Marvel's office, listening to them discuss events, and they were getting events wrong. They were getting continuity wrong, and I'm like, I'm on a ladder changing, you know,
Right.
and I'm like, can I get off this ladder and point to him and go, you're wrong. How did you get this job? You don't know what you talk. But I knew my boss would get mad at me. So I was biting my.
Right.
So I went to your boy Zach and I told him that story. I became one of his insiders, from the beginning. But anyway, I'm interrupted you.
No, no, you're fine. No, you're fine. So yeah, I wanted to be a part of it. I had the idea for Wart the Wizard. I'd already had most of it written. I just I just had to pull from my notebook and figure out what I wanted to do. I taught myself how to do print files. I taught myself how to draw enough that I could get it done. I had artists come to me with Wart the Wizard 1 and offered to do it. And I was like, no, it's really important with this book that I learn how to do every aspect myself. So I lettered it, I colored it, I
Wow.
drew it, I paneled it. It was really, really, really important to me that I learned
Personal
every
story
aspect
between you and
of
your
how
boss.
to do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to show you. Oh, you can't see it, but this
Oh, I
this
can
is how
see
well I
it.
draw. This is what I said, Renzo, my artist, and then he turns it. So I can't draw.
Yeah, well, yeah, me neither. Me neither. But yeah, so I did it. And when I started, I thought, I'm among really amazing artists. You know what I mean? I mean, Shane wasn't around yet, but you had Ethan, you had John, you had all of these
Massive
amazing
talent.
artists, just
Yeah.
amazing. And I thought, you know what? If I can sell enough to to be able to ship what I sell and have a copy for each of my kids, I did good. That's all I really wanted. Um, Plus I would have the on-hand experience now of everything. You know what I mean? Artist. I would have the hands-on experience. I would know how to do everything. So with my next book, if I decided to do another one, I would know how to do it, right? I've met artists, I could network, meet artists that I could possibly commission to work with me and stuff like that. So, and it ended up making, I think it was 17,000, a little over, so which was just
Oh my.
mind blown. Like, holy crap! Like,
If I thought it
wow.
was 17, I just drooled at thinking about that. But if I thought
And
$17,000,
then yeah, so I had all the hands-on experience and I ended up loving Comicsgate. I ended up loving working with the artists and just hanging out with the creatives and being around people that kind of know that this stuff sucks. You know what I mean? Know that Marvel's, nosediving and DC's taking a nosedive. And
It's
you
so
know, and I'm not the only one. So it's really, really, it's a great community to be a part of. So
it's so it's so depressing considering, I'm such a comic book fan,
mhm,
that given the chance, let's just say all the wheels aligned and they say you could write the Fantastic Four, which has been my childhood. I don't even want to do it anymore.
right,
You know what I mean? Marvel has just destroyed it. I'm going to
yeah.
show you this. I share this picture with everybody. This is my comic book room. You know,
Holy crap! No wonder your John's long box.
yeah,
There's some
yeah.
long boxes, dude.
So this, it's right behind me. I go. It's like the valley. I just go into the valley and sort comics and look at comics. So that's whenever I got somebody for the first time, I'm like, and they're like, "Well, what do you know about comic books?" It's funny. I got into an argument with somebody on Twitter, and somebody said, you're not even a fan. You're a tourist." I just put that picture. Like, yeah, okay, buddy. You
Yeah,
want to talk comics? I'll talk comics.
you
As I
caught
call.
me.
Well,
Crazy. That is a lot of comics.
thank you, Baba Boom. Thank you. You know, I'm a lunatic. And maybe in this it blows. That shows that you got mental problems. I'm like, sorry, dude. Sorry if I love comics. If I love
Yeah,
comics any less, would that make you happy? Well,
that's
I'm reducing my comic buying load by Fabian Yazetta written comics. I won't buy those.
well,
So what? So you went from what to wizard, which is charming, all ages, and then
mhm.
and Jack the Ripper was second, right?
Super Dead was
Oh, Super
second.
Dead was second. Well, I read about it.
I went for that to Super Dead. Which is Super Dead is like The Boys meets, I don't know, like Spawn, maybe. It's got a little bit of that feel to it. So basically, it is about a superhero who was just amazing. He was all things good. He was a little bit like Superman in just genuine love for the world and for people and just wanting to be a protector. His name was Captain Valor. So during a big fight, he crushed an like a dark energy force from the bad guy and he consumed it. And over time, it kind of drove him crazy. Like he started getting like slowly losing his mind to where he started like craving murder and craving like the flesh of humans. Like he would go into like a feeding frenzy almost around humans. So he put himself down in the sewer with the people in town supposed to be helping come up with a cure, figuring out a way to cure him of his affliction, right? So he's down in the sewers, he's feeding on like rats and just whatever he can to curb his craving for blood. And after years go by, he realized, he's walking around the sewers and stuff. The only person who remembers him is a little girl who comes to the edge of the sewer every night and gives him like a flower and tells him thank you. She didn't forget about him, but everyone else has. Everyone else has just forgotten about him. So he finds that he's been replaced with a new guy, which is Omega Atlas. And Omega Atlas is an asshole. He is. Everybody loves him. He's the our savior. He's where's Captain Valor? You know what I mean? We don't have him anymore, but Omega Atlas is
He's
a
the new
hero
hot.
you can count on. And it just, once he realizes that he's been just not only replaced but forgotten, he absolutely loses his shit. Like he gets mad. So he comes out of the sewers and he finds that his girlfriend has replaced him and forgotten about him. She's dating a new guy now, living her life. Um, so yeah, he also has this dark energy that has been building. In book two, it's definitely more like prominent that it's there. In book one, though, it whispers to him and it's driving him more mad. It's like the dark energy is manifesting itself into its own entity over time with the more death he caused. And the more he devours, the bigger this dark energy that is with him is getting. So that's kind of the premise for Super Dead. Is very dark. Is very yeah. Is oh, thank you, Captain Nunchucks.
I love that
But yeah,
name. Love
it's
them.
growing.
Me and I don't know. It's being a kid in the 80s, we all had nunchucks and we all smashed our elbows with nunchucks. So whatever this guy says is going up
Shoulder.
on the screen. Yeah. I read them out of order because I'm a Jack the Ripper freak. So when I got your
Oh,
comic,
cool.
I was like, I got to read Jack the Ripper. That I saw Peter Gilmore. He was the artist on that, right?
He was, yes, yes,
Excellent.
yes.
I don't mean to be mean picking favorites from you babies, but I'm a Jack the Ripper freak. So I'm always
Of course. No, I love when people give me feedback. I love
okay.
to hear what their favorite. I mean, granted, I hope everybody likes all of them, but of course, everybody's going to have their favorite, right? I mean, I have, I like New Mutants, but my favorites are 85 through 100. You know what I mean? So everybody has their favorite. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, so
so,
Mandy reads a bedtime story to
so
her.
for Wart the Wizard, you said you did it all. You wrote, you drew, you lettered, you colored.
Yes, with
Did
the
you also
first
fulfill it
one,
all?
with the first one. Now, Portal of Echoes. Peter was doing the artwork on that, and we actually did a redo of book number 1 with Peter's art that we offered on the campaign for Portal of Echoes for people that missed out on the first one. So to have a copy that is actually my art in it is very rare. It is
Oh, I gotta look.
they just
I gotta look
there's
what I have.
not a lot of those. And then Peter went back and did a redo of book number 1, the artwork, anyways. And we did a redraw of it with his artwork. So the artwork now matches 1 and 2. So yeah, it's Peter's art in Portal of Echoes.
So did you fulfill it too? Did you're sitting
I
at home?
do, yeah. Oh, I did everything. And
How
I
is that?
fulfill all of my books. I do not fulfillment I take incredibly seriously. I want it done right. I have, and this is no offense to anybody that uses a fulfillment center. It is more of just me. I know it's done right if I'm the one doing it. You know
Well,
what I mean? I've seen some creators you know, hire a fulfillment center that they think is on the up and up, and they turn out to not have done it the proper way. You know what I mean? And I just absolutely like, I don't know. I know it's going to be done right if I do it. It's one of those that, you know what I mean? So,
I know me. If my comic sells 99 copies or less, I'll fulfill. If it
mhm.
sells 100 or more, I'm going to go with Critical Blast because I'll make a mistake and then
He does a
I'll
good
piss off
job.
somebody.
He does a really, really good job with fulfillment. So that's a really good choice.
Peter Gilmore has original copy for $1 million. If anybody wants it, there you go. Help a brother out. Pete's got bills to pay too.
Shut up, hater.
Yeah, you know, I saw this by Sizzle Chest. I love rumors and stories and legends
Mhm.
and speculations about Jack the Ripper. There was a book that I just read about all of the Freemason symbols and everything like that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by that. I'm a conspiracy guy. I don't necessarily believe in conspiracies, but I believe that other people believe in conspiracies. Like I don't
Right.
believe in the occult, but I believe that other people believe in the occult. So I love all this stuff. I love a good conspiracy theory. You want to talk aliens or Bigfoot? I love all that stuff, and I think that's good for comic book writing.
The only thing I'm always questioning about Bigfoot is never mind. I'll say that one for Shane. That was a dirty question. But
put it in a private chat. I gotta know now.
all right, well, I think I could say it on stream.
Yeah.
Is he got an Annie or an Audi?
Well, the
You know what
video
I
was a
mean?
woman. The woman had big old floppies. So I don't know, but I assume the man's gotta match that. I don't know. Do you believe in Bigfoot?
Oh, thank you, Eric. What was the question he added?
What did it say? Oh,
Who
okay.
added the letter? Peter and I both agreed to do that, to add the letter to it. That was something we did try to keep with one. We tried to keep an historical aspect to it, even though it is completely, I mean, he probably wasn't out there killing vampires. You know what I mean? But we did the dates match up for when the deaths happened. The letter, we worked that into it as well because we thought it was really cool. The t-shirt that was offered on the campaign was actually the wanted poster that was hanging up in Whitechapel when it was when all the murders were happening. That was the actual poster that was hanging up. So we did try to keep a historical aspect to it. Yeah, Peter did redraw that damn letter by hand. He did. We did try to keep a historical aspect to the whole thing though, with book one, just to build up because it's based off of a real character, a real person. So we did try to keep it very historically accurate in the first, minus the fact that he's fighting vampires. All of the deaths actually happen on the actual dates.
Well, then who fought off all the vampires then?
What do you mean?
You know what's funny is I play a role-playing game, but I don't play Dungeons and Dragons. I play a superhero game, and every once in a while we'll set it in the past. And my friend has a cowboy character, and he went to London to fight vampires and met Jack the Ripper. So I was just like, and then years later I see your comic. I'm like, did Mandy read my forum? Did Mandy, did she lift my story idea? Yes, Mandy draws a crowd. Yes. Thank you, Mandy. You made the story.
Hey, Chris.
Mutants and Masterminds. No, Jason. The game I play is Villains and Vigilantes. It's a.
I know that one.
Oh, really?
I haven't played it a lot, but I know that one. I rolled up a character for that.
Oh, because that's the game I play. I just played 2 weeks ago. Matter of fact,
really?
I got a phone number that somebody told me was the owner of Fantasy Games. I called him up today, left a message. I hope it's him because otherwise somebody got a really weird message about role-playing games and comic books. I want to actually cross-promote that he'll allow me to write up my characters in V&V stats, and make it like a playable character if you buy a module and stuff. But I want to do it so that I don't get myself in trouble, But that's funny that you know that game. I love that game. That is my go-to game, and I adapt the rules to do a fantasy version, to do a Gamma World version, to
right.
Cowboys, Pirates. I use it all in V&V.
I
would love to do this. I would love to do the walking tour of Jack the Ripper.
That would be really fun. That would be really fun. So I have been, I don't know when I'm going to do it because I've been saying I'm going to do it for a while. I am eventually going to load my country ass. See, COVID kind of knocked me out of the thing. I was going to go to London and hang out with a lot of the CG UK group, like, with Peter and Charlie's in London and Tommy Mark and all of those guys. But COVID hit, and now it's like, I just haven't got back into that. But when I go, so I'm wanting to go there. I'm wanting to go over to I just want to go kind of backpacking across Europe a little bit. Like I want to check out Germany. I want to go check out, I just want to go backpacking and throughout I love Charlie too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
if I hit that,
definitely on my list.
Fly her to New York and she rolls up Charlie Chaplin as we're all playing as our characters.
Oh my gosh, that would be so funny. Chaplin's
walking around. What am I doing here?
That would be so funny.
Yeah, she was one of the earliest guests on my channel, and man, that was the one my wife actually hung out and was listening because she was talking about serving at the Queen's funeral and everything. My wife is Canadian. Yeah. She's very interested in the royal family.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So this is great. I obviously knew you from all the streams. I obviously knew that you made comics. I had your comics, but I didn't know that you were like such into role playing games. I mean, look at that. You got a Ravenloft box right next to you.
I do. Yeah, I have it. My dice bag is a mimic. That's what I keep my dice in. I love mimics. I love mimics and I love bugbears.
Oh,
They're goofy monsters, but they're like my favorite. They're my favorite
everybody has a
monsters.
favorite D&D. My two favorite are Mind Flayers and Displacer Beasts. I don't know why. Like my friends are like, oh, not another Mind Flayer, not another Displacer.
Look, it's oh my god, dude! I could show you the same thing. I collect dice. I could
Well,
show you.
this is dice that other people left.
Oh my god,
People
that's
leave
like
dice. I
your.
throw it in this thing and I put it out there so you can collect your dice when you leave, and nobody
I
remembers.
see some six sided, some percentiles.
Yeah, I think the dice are just breeding. Like where are they coming from?
Oh my gosh, I have so many dice. I use it so a friend of mine online got me a metal set, which I had never had before. So that's the one I use now. But no, mind flayers are awesome, dude. Look, I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3, okay, which is totally a D&D setting. It's
Right.
well, it's 5, so it's a little bit different, but it's still a lot like 3.5, but so
I like
it's
Triple
5.
too. Just showing my Star Trek nerd cred too.
No, it's tricky. I never got into Star. I watched one when I was little, and Captain Kirk died. And I cried, and I was like, I'm done with this. It was like watching, yeah, I don't know, because I kind of fell in love with him, and then he died, and then I never got into it again. I was like, piss on this, like Lassie, not Lassie, Old Yeller. It's like Old Yeller and Bambi to me now. Like it scarred me, and now I just don't watch it.
When I was a
Uh,
kid, I used to take tape, like this metallic tape, and cut
mhm.
it, put it around my wrist, so I had the whatever the command symbols that Captain Kirk had on his sleeves. You know,
Yes.
I used to I wore this like mustard colored shirt with tape on my arms, pretending, and then I would forget about it, put it in the wash, and my mom would get mad at me because there'd be tape on everybody's
Tape
clothes.
on everything. Yeah, that crap melts too.
You know,
But
I've been trying to
but
get William Shatner to come on this channel. Like, I know it'll never happen, but you don't get what you don't ask for, right? Can you
that's
imagine?
true. That's true. Well, I got my fingers crossed that you get Shatner.
You
I
know,
think you can.
yeah, get Shatner on here. Never meet your heroes, right? He'd probably be the biggest jerk.
I don't know. Shatner's pretty much just Shatner, I think.
Yeah,
I think you know what you're getting into when you get him.
I'm a TSR peer. If it wasn't made by, okay, Kyle, good comment. Again, what is this? This is not the. I bought a couple of D&D. I bought the second edition books after this. They had the blue. They're upstairs, and then I
Mhm.
bought a couple of books just because I like the art. But I can't even find. Damn! Last night I was gonna get my wooden old box and I forgot to do it. I keep looking over there, but it's a wooden Risk box. Showing off my nerd stuff. So you said you played a paladin, right?
I did, yeah.
Was that your first and longest lasting character?
That was my first and my longest lesson. Yeah, I've played played a thief too, like a little gnome thief. That I played. She was fun. We didn't end up playing. That's about the time that my DM moved, but so I didn't get to play her a lot. But she had a really cool backstory. Because so with Ladavia, it was lawful good. Obviously, with a paladin, you're playing lawful good. I didn't want to role play that again. So I wanted something. So I went chaotic neutral with this one. She really just if it helps her, it helps her. You know what I mean? So she
Yeah.
was fun to play though. She was really, really fun to play. Um, but I didn't get to play her very long. I think I'm level 3, maybe. So I didn't get to play her as long as I would have liked to, but she was fun. She was fun, and writing her backstory was really fun.
Jamie, I love this comment. I actively did not let my other players read the
Mhm.
DM book. Read the player's handbook. You cannot read the monster manual. You can't, and then you can't read the deities and demigods. That was funny that you said that. I guess I'm not the only crazy person.
That's how my DM was too. He didn't want us reading the he didn't want to. I mean, most of the guys had already read it like long ago, But when I started, he was like, "You cannot read that. You can read the player's handbook." And he gave me a player's handbook. He's like, "You have to have this. This is going to be your best friend through this campaign." So he gave me, like, he went out and
Oh, that's nice.
bought me the player's handbook so I could play, because I didn't know what I was doing the first night. They were like, "Y'all want to play D&D?" And I was like,
How old
"What's
were you?
that?" Oh God, 15.
Okay, 15 years old. Now, and you sit down to play D&D and you didn't know, like, were they mean to you? Because I had DMs that were just like mean to the new players, like expect to
No,
get
no, not at all. Not at all. He helped me roll up my character. He let me re-roll the one.
yeah.
When I was rolling up my character, he let me re-roll the one. No, he was really nice. And
Because if it's not fun, you're not coming back, and you need people.
right,
Yeah,
right. No, he was really nice, and he, of course, I went into it like I do everything. I was like role playing that night. Like he was like, he went through though and was like, "Okay, so you want to do a paladin, right? You want to be able to fight, but also have the capability to heal." And really fight a lot of undead. That's where you're going to really come into play. And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay, so here's what you need." So no, he explained everything really, really good. He was really excited that I was wanting to play. So he was really nice about it. And like I said, he was like, "Okay, so you're probably, unless you want to be an oath breaker, you're probably gonna want to be lawful good. Most paladins are." And I was like, "Okay, well, what does that
it
mean?" And
doesn't
he
mean
said that
anything.
means, and he explained it. So the moment we started the campaign, I was role playing. So I think he just liked having a girl that's sitting there like
Man, we were
literally.
all of that myths of like, oh, we chased, girls were never welcome in D&D. You know why we were playing D&D in the 80s? Because girls didn't want to hang out with us. We would have loved for girls to hang out with us. We would have loved it. They would have
Yeah,
been welcome. There's no way in the world. I don't believe that myths. If girls
no, I don't either.
if girls were saying they were chased away from, there was a reason that they were chasing them away.
Right, yeah.
And
No,
maybe
like,
I could
and
talk to you all night long, but at 8:30, RJ's coming over, and we're
no
gonna do
worries, no
team up with
worries.
Luke Stone. So I
No
we
worries.
gotta.
I'm gonna go to Texas Roadhouse.
Oh,
Get me a Kenny's
there's a
cooler.
Texas Roadhouse right on the corner, and every time my wife and I decide to go there, there's a line around the block. So I've had
Dude,
that.
get the app, and then you can go on and preset, like, but when you leave your house, you can go on and like reserve your table. So by the time you get there, the table's open.
Okay, maybe I'll
That's
do it.
what I
I'm
do,
all,
because
I'm all for
they're
it.
always packed when I go too, but I only end up waiting like 3 minutes if I reserve on the way.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right,
You're welcome.
Mandy. Not only does she get me the biggest audience ever, she gives me a life hack on how to get into Texas Roadhouse finally.
I'm
You are wonderful, man.
grateful.
I could talk to you all night long, but
Well,
I
I
have
would love
another
to
show
come
on.
back just
Yeah,
anytime.
come
Or if
back
you want to come
whenever
on with
you want,
me, come
anytime you
on.
want. We barely even talked about your comics.
I
You know,
know, I
we
know we nerded out, but that's
yeah, this was
fun. That's
great.
fun.
Oh, thanks a lot. And
No,
guys, I got it at 8:30 on this channel. It's comic book team up with RJ from the Fourth Age and Luke Stone. We're going to be talking about Fund My Comic, which I think is an important thing to have our own platform with us that won't alienate us.
absolutely.
But thanks a lot, Mandy. Please come
No,
back and
thank
we'll
you.
talk more about your comics. We talked about D&D all night long.
Awesome. All right, bye, you guys.
Bye bye, everybody.